What's going on, guys? Jake here. Going to be playing some Pokemon trading card game online today, Pokemon TCGO. I know it's a little bit different from what I usually do, but I'm pretty much into all things Pokemon, and Pokemon trading card game is something I've been playing for a while. Kind of am getting back into it, so I don't even have that many cards at the moment. Don't have a lot of decks made, but that's all right though. So this first deck that I decided to build, getting back into it, is pretty much a Raikou V deck, but I also am using the new Luxray V and a new Regieleki. I don't think it's that new, but I think it's the newer of the two Regielekis, and I'm also using the Radiant Greninja. And of course we have the 4/4 Flaffy Mareep line so that we can accelerate the electric energies to Pokemon on our bench. And pretty much the main idea is to use the Luxray V, Raikou V, and Regieleki to attack. Other new cards from Astral Radiance is the Trekking Shoes that helps with getting lightning energies in the discard pile and just getting through our deck a little bit faster. Then we've got a lot of Pokemon search cards and some of the standard draw supporters, pretty much standard Pokemon tool cards, and we have a lot of energies because without the energies you can't really get the deck started. Speed Lightning is kind of a draw card, but it still does require you to use your energy attachment for the turn. But then we've got 8 lightning energies, which I found it worked pretty well because you need to get them in the discard pile to get things going, and then you also need energies to discard with Greninja, and you can actually discard the Speed Lightning energies as well with Greninja, so all the energies work with him. So we're getting into this first game, and we see we're playing Jolteon VMAX. We see the badge, we see the lightning energies. He's got a Jolteon coin, I think, too, that we saw him flip at the beginning. He did mulligan, so we got 2 extra cards there, which is always nice. Yeah, and it looks like our starting hand is pretty solid. We start with the Mareep in the active, which I think is, of the two, I would prefer Mareep or Raikou to start with, probably. Mareep because you can get the air balloon on him to get him out, or Raikou because you can get his ability to draw cards, and you're going to be attacking with him anyways. So we're going to start by playing our 2 Trekking Shoes. I was kind of unsure if I wanted to discard that Regieleki, so I decided to keep it. Same thing here with the Flaffy. That's kind of an unfortunate thing about the Trekking Shoes, but we play multiple copies of a lot of things, so usually you can discard stuff, and depending on the matchup, you may not need Regieleki anyways. So I decide to get the 2 Flaffies up and use my Quick Ball to get up the Greninja, and then use concealed cards to get a little bit further into the deck, get another lightning energy in the discard pile, and I get a research. And as soon as I see that, I'm thinking, I'm gonna get rid of everything in my hand. So I did decide to hold on to the Regieleki and Flaffy initially, but I think I'm gonna play the research and just get some more cards going. I don't think Regieleki is that necessary in versus Jolteon, so I decided to just play it. The cape is pretty important in this matchup, so I decided to play it on my Raikou with the energy already on it. It gives us that extra 50 hit points, and Jolteon's doing 100 with its VMAX attack. With the little damage counters he can put on with the Inteleons or Zigzagoons, he could whittle us down still to do 250, but just putting that cape on helps us not get too KO'd by just the Jolteon's attack. And we even got an air balloon for the Mareep, so we're able to retreat the Mareep and get the Raikou V in the active and use the Fleeted Foot to draw a card, which is such a great ability. You can even use more than one a turn if you're using your switch or using your escape rope, or just retreating into another Raikou on the bench. Unfortunately, with the Raikou deck, with the Luxray deck, you're not really able to get a first turn attack because we don't have a way to get more than 1 energy into play the first turn of the game. So we weren't able to get a first turn attack. It passed over to him and he just attacks us as the 100 gets another Jolteon and Stobble down, but it kind of looks like he's bricking, so that's good for us. I use my level ball, get my Mareep in play. I have 2 Ultra Balls, so I'm able to get another not Mareep, Flaffy in play, excuse me, and looking pretty solid. I can't remember how many lightning energies in the discard pile, but we have a research in the hand or in Marnie, so we're able to get some more cards if we need to get an attack off this turn. So we're going to be able to get an attack off this turn. It's just a matter of on who, and I think it makes more sense to attack the active because the bench Jolteon has really nothing going for it. Yes, we can knock it out if I find a choice band, but the active Jolteon is definitely more threatening, I think. And you can see we had 3 lightning energies in the discard pile, so works out. We're able to get an attack off. Unfortunately, going to have to attack with the bench Raikou, but at the same time, kind of makes it so even if he were to somehow get another 50 damage on us, like with a, I guess, a choice band, I don't know, I don't think that would happen, but pretty much we're just kind of preventing him from getting knockouts by retreating into our other Raikou, and Raikou having that 1 retreat cost makes that really nice. So we get the 180 on the active Jolteon, he gets another Jolteon VMAX down, gets a badge on it, and then he just passes it over to us, attacking and doing another 100, and scoops it up. Looks like he was bricking and having Manaphy down, and him not being able to boss it up immediately and KO it. It was very nice. Him not getting the drizzles down, of course, to be able to get his Inteleon going in the quick shooting. I'm guessing he would play that, but I don't really know 100% what Jolteon's play. But either way, it was I think a good showcase of how well the deck can set up and how many cards you can go through with the deck, using the shoes, using Greninja, using Raikou's ability. So I think it was a pretty solid first game. Now we're into the second one, and by the looks of his mulligan, he is playing Darkrai VSTAR. And we saw the Temple of Sinnoh there, so we kind of do have to watch out for that with our speed lightning energies being turned off and not being able to draw cards. We can still play them and still use them as lightning energies, but not being able to draw cards could definitely hinder us. We get the Raikou start though, so that is nice. We get to draw a card with him, and he gets the Darkrai start. So it is Darkrai for sure. And we have a pretty good starting hand again. 2 shoes, lightning energy there. Manaphy, I don't think is 100% necessary in this game. And Regieleki, I don't think is 100% necessary, but sometimes it's hard to tell. And just him being a 1 prize attacker is convenient. So you can get damage on the board and not give up 1 prize by leaving him in, or not give up more than 1 prize, leaving him in the active. So we play our shoes to start off with. Having to choose to get rid of this escape rope here is kind of rough, because the escape rope is one of our switching cards and it forces him to switch, which is nice. I think I do decide to hold on to it, and I was thinking maybe even getting his Moltres switched with his Darkrai here could be nice for us and slow him down a little bit. So I start by playing the Stadium, getting a Mareep down, drawing with Raikou there I think before that, and usually getting 2 Mareeps down is what you want to go for, because you just need to be able to attach the 2 energies to Raikou to be able to attack. So 2 Mareeps gets you the 2 Flaffy to be able to do that. And then Luxray's attack and Regieleki's are 3 energies each, and 2 Flaffy attachments, and then attached from your hand gets those powered up. So two Flaffys, 2 Mareeps is pretty much the ideal amount, I think. And then it leaves room so you can have a backup attacker, your Radiant Greninja down, possibly Manaphy if you need it, possibly another Flaffy if you need it, depending on the matchup, stuff like that. So we do use the escape rope, get his guy switched, and we have the air balloon, so it works out for us, so we can retreat the Mareep into one of our Raikous, and then we research the hand away. So we do get rid of the Regieleki. Not going to be using it this turn. I don't have any, or not this turn, this game, don't have any Pokemon recovery in the deck. So pretty much once you've discarded it, it's gone. I did think about putting in Pokemon recovery, but I don't know if it's really necessary. So at this point, I haven't added it. And we just passed over him getting energy on the Raikou and see what he does. He does get the V-Star down, and he Marnies us. Not too big of a deal. We have the draw with Raikou and Greninja, and we have our Stadium in play. So we have options, and we get, not mulligans, we get Marnied into a Flaffy. So we do have at least 1 energy in the discard pile, I'm pretty sure, so we can get an energy onto the Raikou on the bench, and then we would just need 1 more energy in our hand to be able to move the Raikou in the active. So he decides to use his air balloon on the Moltres to retreat, and then gets in the V-Star and just hits us for a little bit with the V-Star. Heads over to us, and we get the switch, so don't have to even worry about getting energy, but we got that as well. So we have options here, and we have a boss in hands, so we definitely want to get another Flaffy into play this turn, and probably want to use Luxray V this game. So we get him off of the mountains, and Luxray V, in addition to doing the 120 damage for 3 energies, he does paralyze. So Luxray, in the way I'm kind of using him in this deck with Raikou, is he's there to kind of put somebody in range of Raikou. Pretty much getting hit by 120, and then at most Raikou can do 220 if both your opponent and you have a full bench. That's 340. That's pretty much KOing everything. So I decide to power up my Luxray completely, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to go in with him this turn and soften up the Darkrai and paralyze him and hope he doesn't have a switch. In addition to getting the Luxray up this turn and getting the 2 Flaffies down, just trying to thin out more lightning energies of the deck is always nice. But also trying to make sure you have some left so you can use Greninja's ability if you need to dig a little further, or use your attachment per turn, especially with Luxray and Regieleki needing that attachment per turn to get an attack off if they don't have any energies on them already. So we get the paralysis, he researches, which is a good sign. So he's digging for the switch and he didn't have it in his hand already. He gets the Radiant Greninja down and he uses the Galarian Moltres to get an energy into play. He definitely can hit the numbers. Darkrai VSTAR definitely can one-shot pretty much everything in my deck if he gets the energies in play. But hopefully this paralysis slows him down enough that he can't focus on just getting energies in play. He needs to focus on also switching his guys. Otherwise, he's just going to lose 2 energies and lose prizes as well. So he does pop our stadium there with his temple, gets a dark patch, gets an energy on his bench Darkrai. But it's looking pretty good for us. I don't know what else he would need to bench. I think Darkrai. Oh yeah, we did see the non-V Moltres in his hand, so that was probably what he's leaving his last bench spot open for. And he passes it over to us, doesn't get the switch, and that's really huge for us. So we're going to be able to get a knockout on this Darkrai for sure. And I want to protect my Luxray, so I do not want to try and get a choice band and knock him out with that. It makes definitely makes more sense for us to just switch into the Raikou with damage on it already, and knock him out with that. Draw some more cards in the process. I definitely want to hold on to this boss. I only have 2 bosses in the deck, and one of them has already been discarded, so I think it makes sense to hold on to that. I get an energy on the Luxray just so it's ready to go for next turn, and we don't get to draw cards unfortunately because of the temple, but we've gone through so much of our deck already, only have 15 cards left. It's not too big of a deal, and we get a knockout and we get 2 prizes. So 4-6 already, and thanks to Luxray we were able to take that knockout. Heads over to him and he puts the Moltres in the active. It's got the air balloon on it, so he's got the free retreat. He benches the non-V Galarian Moltres, but he doesn't have any energies in hand, so it just goes right to his bench with nothing on it, and he researches and gets another Darkrai VSTAR, and I think attaches the choice band this turn, and he gets those 2 dark patches. So he's going to be able to get an attack off with him, but he has so few energies in play. He's not going to be able to get a clean knockout on a Raikou, on the non-damaged Raikou or Luxray, but he could knock out this. Seeing that, it makes me think maybe it would have been better in hindsight to go into the Raikou without any damage on it, but I think either would have been fine. He decides to dig a little bit further with the Greninja, getting some more dark energies in the discard pile. I don't know how many dark patches he's played, but I don't think he's played through all of them, so he can still make use of those dark energies in the discard pile, and he's got Galarian Moltres V, so he takes a knockout, and we promote our Flaffy because we have the air balloon on it. And I think again it makes sense to try and go for the Luxray paralysis and hope he doesn't have a switch again. Soften the Luxray up, or soften the Darkrai up, and then Raikou can come take it out the next turn. So you can see having energies in our hand here is very good, because in addition to the 2 energies, we're able to accelerate with the Flaffy, but then we're able to attach one from our hand to Raikou, so we only need 1 Flaffy to be able to power it up, and then we're able to get more energies into play on a backup attacker next turn as well. So I decided Marnie there, and I actually get the cape, which is very nice. So if he does happen to get enough energy seeds into play to knock out one of my guys. The cape make him have to get just a few more, I think. Darkrai is 30 base and then 30 for each. I'm doing the math right now, seeing how many dark patches he's played, seeing how many energies are in this discard pile, contemplating whether to play the cape on the Luxray or play the cape on a guy in the bench. But I think I decide it's not necessary to play it at all this turn, so I just decide to hold on to it and not play it. For me, it's like when I have those tools in my hands, obviously don't want to get them tool scrappered away, but I almost rather play them so I don't draw into them and they just continue to come into my hand and then get shuffled away with Marnie or things like that. It's just another way to thin my deck by playing them right away. But if I don't have a way to play them or don't know who to play them on, I just think it's better to hold them, but I'm not 100% sure. And as you can see, he doesn't get his switch again, so Luxray put him in range, wasn't able to find the switch, and now we're able to keep our Luxray healthy and then switch into a Raikou and get another knockout, making it 2-4. I'm running really low on cards, but I'm not going to be decking out. I don't think I have a Marnie use, you can see, and I don't think there's any way like he could make me deck out. So getting this low on cards is totally fine with this deck, I think, and it'll happen pretty much every game. I decided to manually retreat and then get an energy, I believe, on both Luxray and Raikou, just so if they get dragged up, they can retreat, and they're both ready to go to attack next turn if my active Raikou gets knocked out. But I decided to play the cape on it, so he's got 250 health, and how many energies does he have in play? He's got 5 in play. He's doing 30 plus 150, so that is 180. So with a choice bands, he's doing 210, and then so we would need 2 more energies and a choice band to knock me out. The benched non-V Moltres does 220. He does 50 times the amount of prizes I've taken in plus 20, I believe. So I guess he just needs a choice band on it to get a knockout and an energy. He decides to bench another Darkrai, but he's not going to be able to attack with it this turn because he's not going to be able to evolve it. Discards another Dark Patch with the Ultra Ball, and we're just in a good position. I don't know how many switches Darkrai usually plays. I think I know Mew decks, they play typically I think is what they were playing is like the 2 escape ropes and 2 switches, something like that, so the Genesects don't get stuck in the active, and they can just play their playable cards too, I think is the idea. But non-Mew decks, I think they might just play like 1 switch, 1 escape rope, maybe 1 air balloon. It's kind of what I was seeing, like when you have options for switching, but he already has the air balloon in play, and we haven't seen, I don't think, the escape rope or switch yet. He does get the energy down, switches into the non-V Moltres, but then he just scoops it up because he's not going to be getting a knockout anyways. I'm pretty sure, I don't think he had the choice band on. And yeah, Luxray totally made that game possible. I think without Luxray, he would be maybe not one-shotting me, but he's going to be putting more damage on the board than I am every turn and building up to a one-shot if I'm not getting knockouts on him and he's just able to retreat and prevent me from taking prizes. So Luxray is a great partner for Raikou, I think. And let's get into the next game. Gonna be going second, and we get a Mareep start. I don't think there was any mulligans, so I think the first 2 games I showed both had mulligans, but it's not every time you play that you get your opponent gets a mulligan. And we see actually no, he did get a mulligan, what am I saying? But we see Switch Cart, Crushing Hammer, so some sort of deck, like, I don't think Whimsicott would play Switch Cart, but maybe. But Whimsicott plays the Crushing Hammers. But I'm not 100% sure what deck he's playing. And we see Radiant Greninja for is in the active for him. So again, still have no idea what he's playing. I'm just gonna use concealed cards to dig, and we see the powerful energy. So I think first I'm thinking Reggies. Obviously they won't play the Greninja. But then we see the Blissey and it's like, okay, so he's playing the Blissey deck. And then we see Miltank. And because I played Miltank in testing, I decided to put in Regieleki. And without Regieleki, we pretty much can't beat Miltank. Because Flaffy is only doing 50 and can get knocked out or one-shotted by Miltank, Regieleki is our only way really to do damage to the Miltank and not get one-shotted in return. He could still one-shot our Regieleki if he has the powerful energies, but we do have the cape to buff up our Regieleki a little bit, so he's got 160 HP instead of 120, I believe. Decided to play the trekking shoes, and same game plan as normal, in that he's got his Blissey in the active, so we're still going to try and knock out the Blissey with the Regieleki and or Luxray, but we're going to need to hold on to our Regieleki and kind of get it ready so we can knock out the Miltank with it. And also don't want to bench too many Vs because he's kind of just going to be able to take prizes with Miltank, knocking out Vs if we do that. Obviously, like in the previous games, we weren't really bench locking ourselves, so we're always going to have a spot open. But I'm contemplating here playing the Radiant Greninja. I don't think there's a reason not to play it, but I don't think I have too many lightning energies in the discard pile, if any, at this point. So I'm not sure if I want to discard the Speed Lightning, because if I do, I'm not going to have an energy to play next turn. And I'm not going to have, I don't have any lightning energies in the discard pile. And I've already discarded 2 Flaaffys and a Mareep. So holding on to the extra Mareeps are kind of nice to, if I need the extra damage with Raikou to boost his damage by another 20. But more importantly, the Flaaffys. I think I do still have 2 in the deck. I think I'd already checked, so I didn't prize any. So we'll be able to evolve the 2 bench Mareeps, but not having backups in case he tries to target them down could be rough for us. He goes for the Crushing Hammer and attaches to the Blissey. He gets the heads, gets rid of our lightning energy, and like I was saying, we don't have any we didn't have any lightning energies in the discard pile, so that kind of works for us, but at the same time we only have the 1. So let's see what the Marnie gives us. Hopefully it doesn't brick us completely, but it kind of is hard to brick too bad with this deck. And we get Marnie into a pretty decent hand, but he does have the Stadium in place, so we can't use our Raikou's abilities. He gets the attack off and does a little bit of damage, but he gets more energies on his Blissey, so his Blissey could be very threatening. And something else to mention with this deck that would really hinder you is the I can't remember the name of the supporter, but the supporter that makes you discard down to 3 bench Pokemon. That supporter really sucks. Pretty much, I think the only times I had played, or the times I had played that I had that played against me, I pretty much discarded my Greninja every time. And if I had 5 in play, I think I would usually kind of hold on to 2 Raikous and 2 Flaaffys. But it just kind of depends on the matchup. But usually, unless you're playing Miltank, just having the 2 Raikous and 2 Flaaffys down is fine, and then the other 2 bench spaces could be discarded. So I'm trying to get an attack off this turn, so I'm just digging through my deck, trying to get energy in the discard pile to be able to thin out the deck and be able to accelerate them to the bench Raikou. But getting the Raikou out of the active is where I'm possibly going to be stuck this turn. But I use Fleeted Foot and I get the Air Balloon, which is very lucky. So I'm able to get the attack off this turn and soften up the Blissey. There's no way I'm going to be one-shotting this, and I didn't think it was worth it to try and go for Luxray V this game, because it's pretty much only useful against Blissey, and by the looks of it, he's probably not going to be playing another Blissey. I don't know. To me, it makes more sense to just kind of bank on Miltank carrying him this game. He does see my Regieleki because I did get it down because I had the opportunity to. So he might try and use Blissey to take down the Regieleki, but Miltank could easily do that as well. So I decided to play the Choice Band on the Raikou V because I don't think I'm going to be using it for anybody else this game. I don't think he's going to bench any other Bs and just get as much damage off as I can. And I'm pretty sure that he's not going to be able to be one-shotting me with Blissey this turn. Blissey does 40, or no, he did 40 last turn, and I think it was 40 times the amount of energies attached to him, maybe. So he'll be doing at most 160, I think, but I could be wrong. He gets a hammer and he gets another heads. It is what it is, but as long as I have the 1 energy, I can manually retreat. So, but him discarding the speed lightning is very smart because I cannot accelerate that from the discard pile with Flaffy. And he decides to boss and bosses up a Flaffy, which, as I already said, is problematic if he decides to target down the Flaffies because we discarded 2 Flaffies to start with. So he does one-shot the Flaffy, and I think, so he has 4 energies on, yeah. So it is 20 or 40 times the amount of energies. No, it's 10 and then 40 for each energy. That's what it is. Okay. So knocks out the Flaffy. I was like, am I choosing my bench? No. Okay, he was choosing his prize, and then I promote my Mareep with air balloon on it. And at this point, what is his Blissey's HP at? He's got 300, so he's got 110 left. I play the cape on the Regieleki because I know I'm going to be needing to use it to take down the Miltank. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to try and go in with the Raikou and save Regieleki until I need it, and then I don't risk it getting knocked out or 2 KO'd earlier than it needs to be. I think I'm just going to accelerate an energy with the Flaffy to the Raikou, and I'm preemptively starting to power up the Regieleki since I only have 1 Flaffy. So you kind of need to think a couple turns ahead here. I get another Flaffy or another Mareep just to thin it out of my deck. But I'm not sure I'm going to be wanting to discard it because I might need the damage for Raikou's attack. As you can see, I have 0 basics left in the deck. I don't know how many Raikous I've discarded. I don't think I discarded Luxray. I think it's prized, but maybe not. But we do get the knockout there on the Blissey. It was pretty much guaranteed. It was just a matter of who we were going to attack with, and he promotes the Miltank. So we have the boss in hand. We have the escape rope. So if we want to, we can try and target down non-Miltanks on the bench, but he Averies. So we have to discard something. In this case, I think it made sense to discard the Raikou because we're playing Miltank. We're not going to be attacking with that Raikou. It did have an air balloon on it, but it also had damage on it. So I decide I'm going in with Regieleki, and I'm going to just get this knockout on Miltank since he doesn't have a, what's it called, a cape on it. It's got 110, and I can do 120, and I can even soften up that Greninja. Not that I really need to since I'm hitting for weakness on it. And I'm just going to thin as much as I can out of my deck. And I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be attacking with Raikou anymore. And even if I am, Blissey I don't think it's too scary. I've got 3 guys on the bench and a choice band, so I'll still be doing decent damage with the Raikou if I don't bench any more guys. But I am getting Pokemon slowly from my prizes, so I can get a couple more basics from there. And I promote the Regieleki and I get the knockout. But the downside is you have to discard all of the energies, so holding on to the switch and the escape rope is like crucial for making Regieleki work. Or not work, but just like not getting him stuck in the active and then kind of losing momentum for you. So we do have those 2 to get him out, and we're not going to be able to get another attack off though with him next turn because we don't have 2 Flaffies in play. So we're going to have to go into Raikou if we want to get an attack off, and get an energy attached either from our hand or with a Flaffy to Regieleki, and then the other with Raikou. But he goes for a Crushing Hammer, and thankfully gets a Tails. Otherwise, that would put us another turn behind for getting an attack off. He gets another Miltank down and is not able to get it to the active. Not that he was trying to, but I think he probably could see that I could attack with my Raikou as long as I'm able to move my Regieleki. So I am able to move the Regieleki, and I'm able to get the knockout on the Greninja this turn. I get an energy on the Regieleki, so next turn I can knock the Miltank out with the Regieleki, and we knock out the Greninja, and it's 2-5. And it's really just a matter of not decking out, but also not losing my Regieleki. If I'm able to hold on to Regieleki and keep attacking with it, I don't need to really worry about decking out because I'm going to be getting the knockouts. But if he's able to get his Miltank powered up and possibly two-shot my Regieleki, then could be trouble for us. But he's not able to get the Regieleki in the active, and he just hits into the Raikou. But he does get the cape attached, so that means I'm not going to be one-shotting it with the Regieleki. I decide to accelerate the energy, manually attach, and go for the escape route. I think the Yveltal, I think I already checked, is going to get one-shotted by the Regieleki. If I go for the escape rope, I'll be able to soften up the Miltank with the 40 from Regieleki, and then I'll be able to knock it out the following turn. But I'm not going to be able to get the Regieleki powered up, I think, is what I'm realizing right now. I'm looking at the energies he has. So if he's going to be two-shotting me, which I don't think he is, because he has the energy that makes him take 20 less. So I think I manually retreat and then go in with Raikou instead. And then next turn, I can go in with the Regieleki. And I still have that Flaffy that is able to do 50 to the Miltank. So I don't just have Regieleki, it's just that Regieleki does more than 2 times as much as Flaffy does. So, and with 2 cards left in the deck, it's kind of scary, but I do have the Marnie, so I could shuffle a few back and give myself a little bit more time. And him even knocking out this Raikou is not that bad because he's got 5 prizes, so he has to knock out like 3 more guys. Gets the lucky energy on, not the powerful, I'm checking. So he's still, and he does Miltank 10 plus 20 for each bench, I believe, and then minus 20 because of the special energy that he has attached. So I accelerate the energy with the Flaffy. I think at this point I'm just gonna do that and draw my deck out, but I'll play the Marnie to reshuffle things in there anyways. And I don't have any more switches, and I don't have an escape rope. I already have a tool on my Regieleki, so I'm not going to be able to air balloon it. And I go in with the Terra Spark. But I don't necessarily need to use Terra Spark to win. I can just use my 20 single energy attack and just attack him for 20 this turn and next turn. And I won't deck out, and I would knock him out as long as he doesn't heal, because he's got 160. We see the Crushing Hammer, though, which is kind of scary, just for being able to get the Raikou out of the active and him just stall me out. But he doesn't hit it, thankfully. But he goes right up, brings Flaffy up, and goes with the strategy of trying to stall me out by just throwing up his throwing up his Blissey. He actually, though, switches, heals his actually, he doesn't heal because he didn't have any damage on it, but he just knocks out the Flaffy, which also hinders me because now I can possibly just be stalled out because I have no energies left. So I think this is my last energy, and if he does hit a hammer on it, I'll lose. I'm pretty sure. Or I at least I could check my deck with the boots or with the shoes, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure it is my last energy. He decides to retreat, bring up the Blissey, and hope that I don't have a boss to be able to knock out the Miltank. And he gets so many energies on the Blissey, but I do have the boss, and I'm able to knock him out. And I thought this was a really fun game, and was super excited to be able to use the Regieleki. Kind of was able to showcase the Regieleki in this game quite a lot, and Luxray in the Darkrai V matchup quite a lot, and then Raikou was kind of in every game a little bit. Like I said at the start, It's definitely a Raikou deck, but Luxray V and Regieleki both play an important role in the deck, and having the shoes and having Greninja makes the deck that much more consistent and faster, gives you more options. I think it's definitely a fun deck to try on the ladder and just win some games with, try and get some more cards like I'm doing, because I don't have that many cards in standard at the moment. A lot of the cards I have rotated. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this type of a video. I think I'll probably be doing more like it in the future, and I'm still probably going to be doing some Pokemon Showdown stuff as well. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But thank you guys for watching, and yeah, I hope you guys have a good one. See you next time. Peace out.